Hi guys, my name's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to do an update for you on where I'm at in the process of recovering from my spiritual burnout. I did a video the beginning of August just saying, hey, you know what? I'm experiencing spiritual burnout. There are so many people that have walked that path, and I had so many comments, and not just, I had a few comments on my YouTube channel, but I also had comments from people I've talked with at church, some of my friends that texted me about the spiritual burnout, that they were going through the same thing. And you know what? Part of it is, I'm so thankful that there are so many people that we're in the same place. So again, I want to remind you, if you are experiencing spiritual burnout of any kind, you are not alone. There are so many people that are walking through that same path. So just take comfort that you're not alone. About a week later, after I posted that video, I did another video on the tools I was using to help me come out of that spiritual burnout, the spiritual funk. And I think it's 2-3 weeks later, so I wanted to do another video, kind of touch base with you where I'm at this point in the game. So at this point in the game, we have started back with our regular fall activities. The fall semester has started at church, so we've got our small groups that have started back. Just full force running with the fall semester with all of our church activities. And I know that I had talked about this before. I'm very active and involved in things at my church. Some might say I'm overly involved. And I would say that I'm at the point where I do believe that you can be too involved to where you're not putting your all into the one thing so you can really excel at it. So jack of all trades, master of none, for example. So I'm still praying about some of the activities that I'm involved in. I know that I feel like God has called me right now to specifically lead a small group on Wednesday night, so I'm not giving that up. And then my Thursday night small group that I actually participate in, it's a weird schedule because of my schedule. I have a son that plays football on Thursday night, so sometimes I make it to that small group Bible study. Sometimes I'm at a football game. So there you have it. But at any rate, my Wednesday night Bible study that I actually facilitate and lead, I'm there, I'm consistent. So that's one of the places that I need to be all in. So here is what we're doing. So, praying, still seeking the Lord. I still have not been in my Bible every day. However, I'm in it more than I was, which is awesome because like every time I'm reading something, especially in one of these Bible studies, my mind is just going crazy with questions. So it's making me want to dig in and do research and just dive in head first. And I'm not talking about just reading, I'm talking about studying, making notes, diving in head first to try to see if I can get some of these questions answered. So let me go through some of the things that are still important to me, and things that I'm still using. Obviously, first and foremost, the Bible. So this is my She Reads Truth Bible. This is the one I use on Sunday mornings, but regardless, I still take notes in it. I'm flipping through. I have other Bibles that I use to study. But again, one of the things that I'm wanting to do is in my Bible, make sure that I am looking up and researching and finding those verses that consistently talk about seeking God first. That's important because it's going to remind me of what I need to do. I need to make sure I'm seeking God first every day. And I haven't been. So again, maybe that's where you're at. Maybe you're not there yet. I don't know. But seeking God first every day. My relationship with Him should be the most important thing in my life. And again, I have not focused on that relationship like I should. I have gotten better, but I'm still not there where I have been in the past. Let me put it that way. So seeking God first. This is one of the things I talked about in my last video about my spiritual burnout, my prayer journal. in this prayer journal, there have been times where I have been praying and I have been weeping. And then I was like, you know what? I literally need to get up and I just prayer walked to my house. Like everybody else was gone. It was just me. So I got up and I just prayer walked to my house. And can I just tell you that God answered prayers that I prayed while I was prayer walking that house, and I'm so thankful that He did. So God is still in the prayer answering. God still answers prayers. So don't ever think that He doesn't. But it was very encouraging for me to see and experience very vividly specific prayers that had been answered. So let me just make sure that you are spending time praying, and whether you journal your prayers or whether you pray out loud. I mean, my goodness, you can pray on your way to work. You can pray as you're doing laundry. You can pray as you're cleaning. You can pray as you're doing dishes. You can pray anytime, anywhere, okay? Make sure that you are spending time communicating. And when I say communicating, you're talking, but you're also listening. You always got to have that time where you're listening to what the Father says. So there's my prayer journal. So on my Wednesday night Bible study group that I'm facilitating, leading, whatever you want to call it, at church, we are doing Spiritual Warfare, Overcoming the Enemy. This is a Kay Arthur 40-minute Bible study. So the class I lead is, I'm just going to call it is truly a hodgepodge of ladies. We have all ages and stages represented. We have kids, we have no kids, we have married, we have divorced, we have all ages and stages of ladies in that class, and I'm so thankful that we do. Because there are ladies that I'm learning from that are older, that have walked paths that I have yet to walk. So I'm learning from them. And it's just great to have all the different ages represented. But anyway, we are doing Spiritual Warfare, Overcoming the Enemy. And this is actually very timely for me because I always knew that spiritual warfare was real. But understanding it more and being able to overcome it, definitely need to do that. And in fact, this study is the study where I have been reading the scripture from here, marking my keywords, and then it's sparking so many questions that I literally want to go and just start a binder where I'm reading and writing notes, asking questions, trying to do timelines. That's where my brain is going as I'm doing this study. This is huge for me. Especially again, walking some of the things that I'm going through, knowing that the enemy is real, knowing how to fight the enemy is huge. And then at the end, we're definitely going to be getting into how to overcome the enemy, as far as, we're going to be talking about the armor of God. And I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with that. I've pulled in a couple other resources. Actually, I've pulled in Priscilla Shire's study, Armor of God, and Tony Evans, Dr. Tony Evans' study on spiritual warfare. So both of those are very appropriate at this point in time to go along with this. So I've also pulled in and done some other research on spiritual warfare. So the fact that I am diving in and doing more studies with my Wednesday night group, and it's sparking curiosity and making me ask questions that I haven't thought about before, that's huge, because I'm getting back into true Bible study, not just a read here or there or a quiet time or devotion, but actual study. And studying your Bible is also one of those very important things that you have to do to overcome spiritual burnout. The more I'm in it, the more I want to be in it, the more I want to crave to spend time with my Creator. So again, finding studies that are really making you want to dive in more are huge. And I'm not talking about books where you're reading a book and it just throws some verses. I'm talking about like actual studying the Bible. All right, so this is one of those that is making me want to study the Bible and dive in more. And this is my Wednesday night. My Thursday night, I don't know if I've mentioned before, but we are doing full precept upon precept Bible studies. These are very in-depth and deep, and they do have homework. The homework is typically about an hour or so a night. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. You are literally marking all the words. One of the things that she gives you is she prints out all the scripture on paper, and you are marking, if you can see, you're marking all the key words, because as you're marking these words, it's going to draw your eye and attention to things that you need to go back and look at to answer the questions that she asked you. So right now we are doing the book of Luke. This is a 2-part study. We are in Luke part 1. And there is a lot of, like I said, in depth. So as you are marking these keywords, you are reading each chapter multiple times. Sometimes you'll read a chapter 4 and 5 times as you are marking these words. And again, as you're reading, you're getting the repetitiveness that things are going to stick with you. You're learning things. Your eyes are being open to things more often than they would if you just kind of breezed through it very quickly. And then the questions that you're answering are like pretty in depth. You're also going and looking at other verses that pour back and point back to the book that you're studying to help answer some of these questions. You were looking at keywords. So as we're going and we're doing this Bible study, we're looking up keywords in our strong concordances. So we're seeing the Greek, the Hebrew, the Aramaic, and we're looking up the definitions to find out the intent of what those are at that point in time. So, and then as I'm going through this study, on the cover page in my binder, I wrote down Psalm 119:18. And Psalm 119:18 says, "Open my eyes that I may behold wondrous things out of your law." And that's so important for me because I really want my eyes to be open to what God has to show me. So those are the 2 studies that I'm going through right now. And honestly, again, this one is the one on Thursday night. So sometimes I'll be at Bible study, sometimes I'll be at a football game. It depends, but I still have this binder with all of my homework that I can go through, and I'm not as in it because, again, it can be overwhelming sometimes. However, I know that this is where I need to be, my in-depth study, diving in, asking the questions. What does God have to show me as I'm diving in and studying this? And then as far as reading, I used to love to read. I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, my nose would always be in a book. As I have gotten older, I have kids, I have life, I work a full-time job. I just have not been able to read as much as I want to. But one of the books that I did buy to help me go along with my spiritual warfare is The Battle Plan for Prayer. This is obviously, if you've seen the movie The War Room years ago, this is where this comes from. And I also have the book Fervent by Priscilla Shirer that is talking about your strategies for prayer as well. So I have both of these books now. I have started Fervent, I haven't finished it, and then I just got this and I haven't even started reading this yet. But at any rate, reading this is going to go in conjunction with this. So when we finish this in class, I will probably pull some of the things out of here to go along with, the armor and finish it up, because prayer is part of your armor. So that is this book that I will be reading. I'm not giving myself a timeline on this. I would love to say I want to read a book a month, a book a week. I'm being realistic. If I sit down to read, and if I want a book like this, I'm going to want to take notes on or highlight. So I'm not even giving myself a timeline on when to get it finished. And then I also talked about the Healthy in the Hustle book. And I'm not going to lie, I did one day in this. And I don't think it was exactly what I wanted it to be. So I kind of put it down and I haven't gone back to it. However, I may revisit this again. So, so Healthy in the Hustle. And then another thing that I wanted to talk to you about that I'm hoping to do to help overcome my spiritual burnout is intentional prayer time with my husband at night. That's not something that we have really done before intentionally. Like, I'm talking about my husband and I come together and we have a time of intentional prayer for us, for our kids, for our family, for things that we're walking through and things that we're going through. And sometimes I feel like I have, just walked through and I've just ignored the fact that God has given me a husband and a helpmeet that is wonderful and I love him dearly. And I need to make sure that I'm communicating with him and that we are talking about spiritual things and that we're taking time to pray and that we are challenging each other in our walk with the Lord and that we're growing together with our walk with the Lord. That's not necessarily something that we've been intentional about in the past. So again, that's definitely going to be a focus of intentionality. So yeah, so that's where I'm at in my spiritual burnout. I am diving back in. God is definitely making me aware of things that I have not been aware of in the past. And the fact that I am craving him more, that I'm asking questions that I never have thought about before, that I'm wanting to dive in head first and find out, okay, God, what was the timing of this? When did this happen? What does this mean? That's huge for me. I would love to say I'm a creative, but I think I'm more of a studier when it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, like in my journaling Bible, I'm not artistic. I don't draw all the pictures. I'm the note taker. Some people are very much creative. That's not my gift. I'm not gifted in that area. If I'm going to be creative and take notes or something in a journaling Bible, I'm going to take notes. I would love to say I could draw and that I was artistic. That's not my gift. And I'm aware of that. But anyway, that was kind of a chasing a rabbit. So yeah, God is definitely working. I'm still in the process of coming out. I'm still working through the spiritual disciplines, but I'm very thankful because there are so many different things that I'm actually already doing that are spiritual disciplines that I never thought that I would classify them as spiritual disciplines. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm going to keep working on those spiritual disciplines. I also am going to try to do a monthly reset video, and that's going to encompass more than just my faith in my walk with the Lord. It's going to be other things. But again, I think being disciplined in one area will teach you and help you to be disciplined in multiple areas. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. So spiritual disciplines, still working through the burnout, and knowing that God is just there and he loves me and he wants me to have that intentional time with him and that relationship with him. So that's definitely something I'm going to be working on and I'm going to continue doing. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet, because videos like this I'm going to be doing more of, and hopefully we can grow in our walk with the Lord together. And if you have experienced spiritual burnout before, again, remember, you are not alone. I hope that you're taking some of these ideas that I've mentioned, maybe even some of these studies or books, and just spending quality time with him, praying, asking him to reveal himself to you, to be real to you, to open your eyes to the truths in his word, because he will absolutely do it. So again, thank you guys. I hope you have a joyful day, and stay tuned. I'll have more videos coming up. Thanks guys. Bye-bye.